From deadly machine guns and lethal viruses to technologically sophisticated lasers and bombs that can destroy entire continents, these are 8 of the most powerful weapons in the world. Number 8. General Purpose Machine Gun. Often deemed the world's deadliest machine gun, this weapon has been a staple of firearms in the British Army arsenal for the past 60 years, and it is still in use for a very good reason. It was first introduced after World War II as a replacement for Vickers heavy machine gun and Bren light machine gun. Its accuracy and reliability on the battlefield have made it irreplaceable in all 3 British armed services, on land, in the air, and at sea. Popularity of general-purpose machine guns stems from the fact that they have been proven to be extremely functional and useful in all kinds of extreme conditions, from conflicts in dry deserts to warfare in the Arctic regions. Their relatively simple design, which includes their air-cooled, belt-fed, gas-operated architecture, and the fact that they are convenient for use, usually mounted on vehicles, helicopters, boats, and fixed locations, make them a go-to choice for combat. They are usually equipped with 2 quick-change spare barrels, where one can replace another when it becomes too hot. It's important to note that when mounted, this weapon requires 2 people to operate it, one to fire the gun and make adjustments, and the other to load the ammunition belts and change barrels. We should probably get into some more technical details. This weapon weighs 13.85 kilograms, including a 50-round belt of 7.62 rounds. Its rate of fire is 750 rounds per minute, and its muzzle velocity is 838 meters a second. In its light roll, when carried by a dismounted soldier, it reaches 800 meters, and when mounted, on a vehicle or boat for example, its effective range grows to 1,800 meters. Details are important when it comes to this powerful killer beast of a weapon. Number 7. Chimera Virus. Bioweapons have been a hot-button issue for decades now, with never-ending moral dilemmas surrounding ethical questions with no clear answers. Biological weapons are extremely deadly, and even the most ardent warfare enthusiasts are reluctant to accept the possibility that there might never be cases in which they should be used, which they shouldn't. Chimera virus is one such incredibly dangerous way of managing war situations which could prove to be deadly to millions. A chimera virus is defined by the Center for Veterinary Biology as a new hybrid microorganism that represents a product of joining nucleic acid fragments from 2 or more microorganisms in which at least 2 of the fragments contain essential genes necessary for replication. In the context of biological warfare, using chimera virus as a weapon implies creating a combination of 2 pathogenic viruses. This would then maximize lethality of the newly produced virus. This is the reason this kind of bioweapon has been considered and discussed for its potential use in warfare. One of the most prominent examples of this was the Soviet Union's Chimera project, which was conceived as an attempt to combine DNA from Venezuelan equine encephalitis, smallpox, and Ebola virus back in the 1980s. Some other variations have been closely studied, such as the combination of monkeypox and the smallpox viruses. Biological warfare is extremely scary to think about. How would we protect ourselves? Hey, real quick, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Give this video a like and hit that subscribe button for more videos like these. Number 6. Metal Storm. This brilliant weapon is an Australian-made, US-funded cannon whose design is reminiscent of a Roman candle, firing round after round of its 36 barrels. This experimental piece could fire a reported 1 million rounds per minute. Metal Storm is an innovative weapon platform that Metal Storm Inc. started developing back in the 1990s. What differentiates it from other machine guns is the fact that it has no moving parts, but is still capable of firing 180 rounds in less than 100th of a second. Its caseless 9mm ammunition is a guarantee that no armor would be able to stop it. There are some drawbacks to this impressive piece of technology, however. Although this killing machine can fire 1.62 rounds in a minute at traveling speeds approaching Mach 5, which makes it the perfect weapon every military force would gladly own, the application of its features remains an issue. Even though no tank would be protected from its deadly blows, that tank would have to be relatively close for Metal Storm to achieve it. On top of that, the target would need to stay directly in front of the weapon, whose quick firing would prevent it from effectively sweeping the battlefield. Moreover, this cannon is extremely heavy and would need a lot of preparation before it could be effectively used, and the expensive ammunition that could potentially go to waste isn't helping. Nonetheless, it looks pretty badass. Number 5. AN-SEQ-3 Laser Weapon System. AN-SEQ-3 Laser Weapon System, also referred to as LAWS, is a U.S. Navy program designed to develop a directed energy weapon for maritime operations. The long-term objective of this ambitious weapon project is to create high-energy lasers across its surface fleet as a support system to existing hard-kill weapons. Essentially, it is a carefully devised system that would help the pre-existing Navy resources to defeat inexpensive threats such as small, unmanned aerial vehicles and fast inshore attack crafts by using the low-cost per-shot capability of lasers. This system uses advances in commercial technology to create an efficient platform for identifying, illuminating, tracking, and lacing enemy surface and air threats. Sounds fancy so far. There are many advantages of this technologically advanced weaponry system. It is lethal, precise, speed-of-light weapon whose numerous upsides have been frequently cited. However, there are certain limitations that should be taken into consideration. Firstly, handling this kind of technology would necessitate extensive training of warfighters who would be using it, which might be less than cost-efficient when it comes to operating a laser-based high-tech weapon. Secondly, this admittedly ambitious piece of tech would have to fit into certain size and weight constraints in order to be operable. Thirdly, since AN-SEQ-3 laser weapon system is a fully electric laser, the operation of the system does not require handling and storage of hazardous materials, such as hydrogen fluoride. In addition, its power level is not adequate to engage in certain threats, such as cruise missiles and tactical ballistic missiles at tactically useful ranges. While there is considerable work to be done to produce a tactical system, demonstrations of this weapons program have shown that this tactical system can be achieved within reasonable cost, volume, weight, and power constraints. Number 4. Nimitz-class aircraft carrier. A total of 10 nuclear-powered Nimitz-class aircraft carriers are considered the largest warships in the world, with each one of them designed for approximately 50 years of service life with one midlife refueling. They operate at a speed of 30-plus knots and carry a crew of 3,200 members. They have remained the centerpiece of the forces that are absolutely necessary for operating forward. The Nimitz-class aircraft carrier serves several very important functions. First, it deters adversaries from striking against U.S. interests. They are designed to provide support and operational power to aircrafts that engage in attacks on airborne, afloat, and ashore targets which threaten free use of the sea. Another important function of this aircraft carrier and its strike group is to engage in maritime security operations that provide interruption of threats to merchant shipping and prevent the use of seas for terrorism and piracy. They are also capable of providing necessary assistance in case of disasters and humanitarian goals. All in all, the Nimitz-class aircraft carrier is an essential part of our defense forces and will likely remain that in the foreseeable future. Number 3. Hydrogen bomb. The hydrogen bomb is a type of nuclear bomb where, just like with the atomic bomb, the explosive energy is derived from nuclear reactions. Where hydrogen bomb differs from an atomic bomb are the processes by which those reactions are achieved. Atomic bomb uses a process called fission, by which the nucleus of an atom is broken down into smaller pieces, which results in the release of neutrons and lots of energy that create an atomic explosion. Hydrogen bomb, on the other hand, uses the process of fusion, by which the atomic nuclei are combined into bigger ones. A hydrogen bomb, also known as thermonuclear bomb, contains a fission weapon within it, but the activation of a hydrogen bomb itself is a two-stage process. It utilizes energy derived from the process of fission to fuel the subsequent fusion. Energy released from the fusion reaction is much greater than that from fission, about 3 to 4 times, which makes the hydrogen bomb much more powerful. The process of fusion that creates the hydrogen explosion happens between 2 hydrogen isotopes. The process of fusion that creates the hydrogenic explosion happens between 2 hydrogen isotopes, tritium and deuterium. This bomb is limited to the amount of hydrogen within it, which means that its power is directly dictated by its creator, which is a scary thought. The first hydrogen bombs were detonated by the US and the Marshall Islands in 1952 and 1954. In recent times, the supposed creation of the miniaturized hydrogen bomb in 2016 caused quite a stir, and the world became alerted and sensitized to the dangers of nuclear weapons. It is still unclear how many of these nuclear weapons and hydrogen bombs and its variants actually exist, considering that many countries engaging in covert forms of warfare are keeping their weaponry, including nuclear, highly classified. Let's just hope we don't need to get acquainted with nuclear weapons and hydrogen bombs in real life, and leave that to the edutainment videos like this one. Number 2. Project Thor. Project Thor is a highly sophisticated weapons system that is currently under development by the U.S. Air Force that is considering its deployment. This non-nuclear space-based superweapon is supposed to deliver strikes to adversaries much more powerful than many types of chemical and nuclear attacks, all while avoiding the unfavorable fallout that would follow nuclear strikes. How is Project Thor even supposed to work? In a nutshell, it would include dropping telephone pole-sized tungsten rods from American satellites to strike hardened bunkers and underground nuclear complexes. Even though they won't be carrying warheads, they will strike at approximately 10 times the speed of sound, which would result in tremendous damage from the sheer speed of their impact. North Korea and Russia are thought to be the primary potential targets of these rods from the gods, as they are often called. Iran, which has received assistance from Korea in hardening its own missile sites and nuclear facilities, would probably be considered as one of the primary targets too. The rods from Project Thor would most likely weigh around 10,000 kilograms and cost about $230 million each, several times the price of conventional and nuclear bunker busters. These kinds of deployments may start off an arms race from rival nations in space in order to retaliate. However, Project Thor is generally considered to be a worthwhile investment, considering that even with air bases taken out of service, these rods will be able to deliver strikes from altitudes of tens of thousands of kilometers. I just wish we could all collectively start investing this much in exploring space rather than exploring space weapons, but we can still hope. Number 1. Tsar Bomba, October 30th. 1961 is the date when the largest and most powerful weapon was detonated and changed the world forever. The Tsar Bomba, which is our number 1 pick for this list. Tsar Bomba was developed as a result of a seamlessly endless nuclear arms race following World War II. Mirishuka Bay on Severny Island in the Arctic Circle was selected as the testing ground for this incredibly powerful life annihilator. The Tsar Bomba was the outcome of the Soviet Union's determination to build ever larger and more deadly weaponry as opposed to Americans, who were, at the time, concentrating on producing small to medium-sized atomic devices. This terrifying bomb was 26 feet long, with almost 7 feet in diameter, and weighed almost 60,000 pounds. The device was delivered to the site by Tupolev Tu-95 strategic bomber from an altitude of 34,000 feet. In order to secure a relatively safe departure of the bomber and its escort to at least 30 miles away from the site, the bomb itself was attached to a parachute that would slow its descent to detonation at 13,000 feet. The detonation was over 1,570 times more powerful than 2 bombs dropped over Hiroshima and Nagasaki combined. Its yield was 50 megatons. The mushroom cloud created by the bomb's detonation was 25 miles wide at its base and about 60 miles wide, and it penetrated the stratosphere at 40 miles high. Severe damage of its impact extended to 150 miles radius, which is enough to completely annihilate any modern large city, including suburbs. This device would have caused unimaginable damage had its original 100 megatons concept been pursued, but fortunately, the accompanying 5-mile-wide fireball was repelled away from the surface by the force of its own shockwave and avoided contact with the Earth, which reduced the amount of the fallout. Apparently, humanity hasn't been quite receptive to lessons from this detonation. Hopefully, it will in the very near future if we are to evolve and learn to live peacefully without the need for nuclear weapons. Fingers crossed for that one. Thanks for watching. What did you think of these powerful weapons? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!